Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me okay? Oh, I can't.
I'm good there. No, I'm
Oh,
not.
per
Okay.
perfect. And I can
Yep.
hear you too. So that's good.
Thanks.
Thanks for giving me a
Perfect.
sound check there. You were the first one. So I was like, is it working? So, all right. Good to see you. I still
Great.
have a few minutes, so not to
Okay.
worry.
Christy, can you make sure my sound's working too? Can you hear me?
It
Okay,
is, and I can hear you and
thank
you can
you.
hear us. Okay,
Yep, thank you.
perfect.
And then I had a quick question before we get started.
Yeah.
So this is the last one, right? If for some reason we don't finish, is there the opportunity to continue?
There is, yeah. And so this
Okay.
is sort of if we don't finish, then we can. Some they
I
will
think
need
we
to sort
should
of.
be able to get there, if not mostly. And
I
I can
think,
stay a little later if that happens today, but
yeah.
okay.
I I think so too, because we really just have those couple definitions and like number three and then the couple definitions. And then just to talk about, they can give us some, feedback on that economic impact survey, like what they'd like
Yeah.
to see. And then just let them know there'll be those follow-up, probably if we don't finish, if we finish everything, there'll just be a couple of follow-up emails where they'll approve the minutes from this session and then probably like kind of look at the survey or provide some feedback on the survey results. There would be some email back and forth kind of like, or, just give
Yeah.
some feedback on that economic impact, but that's usually just done via email because this is the main work of the committee to provide,
Hmm.
provide sort of some information on what questions we should ask and considerations for the economic impact and then these changes. But after that, there would probably just be a couple of email follow-ups.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Mary.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. Welcome to the session.
Thank you.
So, Christy, I just got an email from Kathy Gilboy saying she received the calendar invite, but there's no link, and she thinks she's connected through the link that's on the agenda. I'll forward it to you. I'm wondering, given that we only have a couple people, if that might have been. Oh, there's my call. We're having a couple of people in the call that have connection issues, so just trying to figure that out.
And I did send over that link. Hopefully that will work for her.
Okay, it just came through on my end. And then were you able to send one to Paul? I think he was.
Yes. Okay. I wonder if I can send out sort of a
Yeah, maybe just shoot an email to everyone on the list.
Yeah, let me just see if I
With
can
that again, because we don't have a quorum right now, so
That's
gotta
right.
wait. Okay, it looks like Kathy got on.
Perfect.
Hi, Kathy. Thanks for reaching out that you were having trouble. Hopefully everything's working now.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear us? We can hear you. Let's see. Christy, are you just sending that out again?
Yep, I just sent it out again. I hit the send. I copied you on it. Hopefully, they will see that and then be able to join that way.
Kathy, can you hear us now? No? Well, I don't want to get started till we have a quorum, which we're almost there, but not quite. So I'll just turn my camera off and give it another couple minutes, and then yeah, I know the only person I heard it from who will not be here today is Crystal Zentner.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Have you heard anything else from anybody? Okay.
I have not.
Okay, we'll give it a couple more minutes. Hopefully another couple of people jump on.
Kathy, did you get your sound working? Perfect. Just wanted to make
Okay,
sure.
thanks. Never mind. Ignore my email, my message then. Christy, do you have phone numbers for some of those
I do.
panelists? I might start
look at-
calling them.
Yeah.
Just 'cause I don't want to waste everybody's time. Is it in that?
It is. It's in a folder. Let me just open that one right here, and I will make sure you have access to that. I'm pretty sure I have that here. Oh, no, I have to pull a different one. Hold on. Okay. Yep.
Oh, Paul's on.
Yay. Oh, that's a quorum. I hope.
Okay, so there's 12. 1, 2, 3. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, well, we can get started and hope other people join since we do have a quorum. Christy, can you pull up the slideshow when you get a second? Okay, so this is, I'll first start, I guess we can go ahead and start recording. It looks, I don't know if we've done that yet, but this session will be recorded. We're at session number 2 for negotiated rulemaking on special education chapter 55. So this is the session that was scheduled today, June 2nd at 3:30 p.m. And like I said, this meeting will be recorded. And then please use the raise your hand feature to speak. If I am not calling on you, though, feel free to just speak up, since it's kind of hard for me to track who is raising their hand in conjunction with what topic. And if you could please put your full name in the chat for attendance purposes. As I mentioned before, it looks like we do have a quorum, although not everybody is here today. We also encourage all participants to keep their cameras on so we can see you as you're speaking. Okay, so this is the list of the committee members. And it looks like, I'll just go through it. I know we're putting them in our chat too for purposes to just make sure everyone's here. I don't see Kristen. Kristen, if you're here, please speak up. Christy, I see you have joined. Are you able to hear us?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I keep having internet issues. I'm so sorry.
No worries, and we can hear you as well. So that was a good little test of that system. Is Brittany here? I'm not seeing her. Dixie, it looks like you're on, and we already tested your sound. Paul, can you hear us?
Paul shared
Okay.
in the chat that he can only, it looks like he's only
Same as
an
last
attendee.
time.
No, it says he's in as an
Oh,
attendee.
promoted as presenter. Okay, let me see if I can do that. Or Christy, are you able to do that?
Yeah. Let me try that right now.
Thanks, McCall. And Ricky Lynn, I do not see her.
And Paul, it looks like I gave you access to be able to unmute. Can you try again?
I just changed Paul's role
Yep.
to presenter as well.
Yep, we're good.
Okay, there we go. Crystal emailed to say she couldn't be here. Kathy is here. We already did sound check. You can still hear us, right? Okay. Mary, I'm not seeing. Is Mary here?
I'm here. Yes.
Okay. Oh, sorry. You're right in the center of my screen. I don't know how I missed that. Patrick, I see. Julie, I see. And McCall, I see. Okay. So so we'll go ahead and get this started. The first thing, Christy, if we can get that slide pulled up, will be to review and approve the minutes from session 1. So I did send those out in a link. Do I have a motion to approve those?
I move
I'll
that we
make a
approve
motion.
the public, or, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll second. You make
Okay.
the motion. I'll do that. I'll make a second.
I move that we approve the minutes from session 1.
I'll second that the minutes
Okay.
be approved.
Okay, does anyone dissent from that, since we're doing everything by consensus? I'm not seeing one, so those have been approved. At this time, we'll do this again at the end, but I wanted to see if there's any public comments before we get started, so the committee can have those comments if they exist for this negotiated rulemaking session. Looks like there's no one on, and there's no emails that we've received,
No
Christy.
emails. No.
Okay. Okay, well, let's get started. So last time we did 1055, 725, 1 and 2. So this time we'll be looking at number 3, which is the special education technician. And then we'll go to the definitions, 1055, 602. And then we'll do an economic impact. Oh, Rickulin looks like just joined. Rickulin, can you hear us? I wonder if, because I admitted her, if I need to. Oh, can you hear us?
Yes, I
Hi.
can.
Okay, great.
Sorry about that.
No worries. If you could put your name in the chat when you have a second, just so we're able to make sure we mark
Yep.
you as attending.
Yep, I sure can.
So that's what we'll do this session. We'll do sub 3. We've already reached consensus on 1 and 2. Then we'll do the definitions, and I'm hoping we can get everything wrapped up today. If this needs to drag a little past 5, I can be here. If anyone has a hard stop, just let me know. But I'm hoping we can get it all wrapped up. Otherwise, we can, if we need to at the end, set up another meeting. But I think we're getting close. So we had started looking at sub 3 this last time. And there was quite a bit of discussion about I'll just read it out, but there was quite a bit of discussion about that first interline there. So how it currently is the proposal with special education technicians shall not conduct or interpret formalized and standardized special education evaluations unless otherwise qualified to do so. So we have a proposal to take out the unless otherwise qualified to do so. And then sub B read access the student information system, SIS, for purposes of creating or developing documents related to the special education record with the exception of the access/content log. And we had a proposal to take out the access to student information systems for purposes of, and just have it. I think we're still working on that one. So we might need some wordsmithing there. And then C was make independent decisions regarding the implementation of a student's IEP, or D, convene and conduct special education meetings. So looking at that, is there any discussion? Let's start with A, just so we can go in numerical order. We had that discussion about whether unless otherwise qualified to do so should be in there last time. Does anybody have anything to add to that? I am not seeing any hands raised. Moving to B. Special education technicians shall not, and then right now it says creating or developing documents. McCall, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Aislinn. This was the one where I had brought up sorry, I'm having a hard time tracking where we left things in and took things out. So this is the one where I had suggested that maybe we don't need to abbreviate the SIS. I don't know that we meant to take out the whole thing. But so just taking that piece out, and then I had also brought up how we have in there access/contact log. I don't know if it would be more appropriate if we said access and contact log or access or contact log. I just don't know if the slash is the most appropriate way to put that in the rule for B.
So you're suggesting put it to access or contact log instead of a slash?
Well, I don't know what the appropriate like terminology of that is, so I would maybe
Gotcha.
defer to those who have worked with those logs.
Anyone want to weigh
but
in? Is that it? Oh, sorry. Go
I'm
ahead.
just saying for rulemaking purposes, I don't think that like the way that it's in there, it probably makes sense, but I would rather refer to it of like how it's actually referred to in the field.
Okay, it looks like Kathy can maybe answer your question on that one. She can unmute. While she's doing that,
Sorry,
I will
I've
say,
got
oh,
three
you're
screens
fine.
going on, so it's hard for me to find where my mouse is going. So if I recall on B, we were talking about that where, because this is technicians shall not, but we do want them to have access to the SIS to create those specific documents in regards to meeting notices and I can't remember what else it was. And so the acts and either Patrick or Julie might be able to chime in on this a little bit too, but with the exception of the access or contact log, if I recall, that's just saying that who accessed the SIS or Infinite Campus. And so maybe we need a little bit of clarification on that part.
Yes, I can jump in there, Kathy, and help a little bit with that. I don't know about that word access. I'd have to double check, but the contact log, the whole point of this piece was for the documentation of communication back and forth. That's the contact log where they're reaching out. We requested on this date for a meeting at this time, or we reached out to the parents today because of this issue. All of those things allowing the special education technician access to that log because of the other things we're allowing them to do. Those things would be recorded in that place as well.
And
Right,
Patrick,
and-
going to McCall's question, is access / contact log a term of art, or is that those
That's
are two different
Infinite
things
Campus.
I'm seeing from Julie?
It's the term in Infinite Campus for the contact log. That's what I'm just not sure if the access part is part of that term. I know contact log is the term, but let me double check on that access part.
Yeah, I'm
Ivan,
not
the technical
sure.
term in special education guidance is access log. So you have to
Okay.
sign the access log in order to view a student's IEP that you were in there. So you have to
So
sign that. So the contact log is different. And I don't know if we should call that a contact log, because to me,
Yep.
you're not logging on the contact. What you're doing is looking up, I believe, maybe the family or the parent's contact information so that you can call them maybe to set up meetings. So I'm wondering if we should say create or develop documents related to the special education record with the exception of the access log. If you go into a student information system and you have the ability to log in, you're going to see the information about the student and all of like the parent's address and the home and all of that without even going into the special education IEP, if you will.
Districts can give folks viewing rights of things versus editing rights, and this would be the editing rights to that contact log. The access is going to be tracked automatically through the system if they're the one in there doing anything. Are you talking about a hard copy file, Julie, where they have to sign in for accessing the hard copy file?
So that's called an access log. So I guess like, I don't
Right,
think
but you don't do that on Infinite Campus.
Well, that's what it's technically called, right? So if you're going in there for a confidential file and you're accessing that and you're viewing that, it's gonna log that you were in there, right?
Right.
But there's not a contact. When you say contact log, to me that means you're logging somewhere that you contacted someone.
Yes.
And so
That's
I'm
exactly what it
wondering,
is. That's in Infinite Campus as part of the special education portal for tracking of everything for special education communication with the families.
okay, so,
And I think access and contact are different, bottom
Mhm.
line.
Yeah. And yes, Julie's right. Every time they're in there, it is going to mark in the system who has been accessing that
Right.
document. Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, so I heard one proposal that I want to run with here to see if it works for people, which is Julie saying create or develop instead of creating or developing. That matches the other language on there. Is everyone okay with making that change? And then it sounds like we just need to figure out, the committee needs to figure out how that phrasing will permit creating entries in a contact log or access log. Is that correct?
That's how I understand it. We need to make sure that it's really understood the difference between what an having access and making contacts. I see them as very different. So I think that we need to make sure that we all agree on that.
And I don't think we need, at least in my mind, I don't think we need to worry about the access part.
Because
That-
it's Infinite Campus is automatic, right, Patrick?
Yeah, it's a requirement it's tracked in the system
Right.
and again, yeah, the intention was just trying to make sure that they're able to access the contact log piece, which is
Yep.
what that portion. of
We
Infinite
want them to
Campus
be
is
able to
called.
do that.
To edit that. You have editing rights in there. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Paul.
Yep, so I'm looking at Infinite Campus right now, and in the special ed portion, it's called Special Ed Contact Log. And the only other thing listed in there is a special ed service log, and I guarantee you, we don't want them under the service log. So I think we are talking about a special ed contact log, which has columns that who the contact was made by, who the contact was made to, how the contact was made, the date and time, and some details. And I think that's what we're kind of talking about as far as a technician having access to document that information is what I believe we're talking about.
Absolutely.
I agree. Yep.
so
is there-
proposal then would be create or develop documents related to the special education record with the exception of the contact log.
Yes.
And then there's no E at the end of develop either. I'm just going to throw that out there. Hopefully the committee's okay with spelling that. Okay, any other thoughts on this one? Does that look good to everybody? Should we move on to C?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not seeing any dissent. So C, make independent decisions regarding the implementation of a student's individualized education program, in parentheses IEP. And can we scroll up real quick? I just want to see if IEP was referenced earlier, because I know we talked about putting that in parentheses. Okay, I think that is the first time. Okay, we can go back down. Any thoughts on this one? McCall, go ahead.
I was just going to respond to what you just said. This is the one where we initially just had it say, if you look on the left, IEP,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had suggested that we spell it out. So, but I think the group also wanted us to say IEP because it's so commonly referred to that. So just refreshing, I think the memory was the reason why we did that.
Thanks. Yeah, for some reason I thought I'd seen it earlier in that statute too, but I hadn't. So.
And I don't remember, did we discuss earlier about that they shall not make any decisions on evaluation meetings? I can't evaluation meetings. I can't remember.
Part A up there talks about they do not get to conduct or interpret formalized evaluations.
Okay, perfect. So that works.
Any other
So-
thoughts on, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, part C is an absolute, it's a federal thing. We're not gonna be able to get around.
Right.
They need full certification to be able to do any of those things there.
Any of that thing. So can we, this is just an organizational piece to me. If we're talking about 3A, conduct or interpret standardized special education evaluations, in my mind, then we should have make independent decisions regarding IEPs under A. In my mind, I think it should go
Mm.
Put-
Mhm.
make C B and make B C. Does that make sense?
I'm
I
seeing some
agree
nods.
with you. I agree with you, Kathy. I think the order matters there.
It does.
I think that the first part should be B. B should be A.
Okay. Yeah, I would go with that.
So flip A and B and then leave C where it is. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, I agree with that.
I think B let's see, conduct. Okay, so no, the first thing should be B should be first.
Okay. And then A should be second.
Hmm.
And then C should be third.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if people are okay, because I think it's going to get really messy if we start doing underline and interline for just changing those around. If we can just leave them like that and just do that to the ones that we're substantively changing, if that's okay. I think that's how we should. In the final one, we can do it differently, but just to work with. Okay, any
Well,
other?
Iceland,
Yeah.
sorry, I just noticed that when we switched those around, it didn't
Yeah.
take
it
the
changed it.
strike through.
And it's the errors are in there too, so.
Yeah, it didn't.
absent-
It didn't make the changes with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it should be shall not. Oh, we should have made the changes. Given that this is new language, we should just have it straight, be clean.
Yeah. That might be easier. We could just compare it side by side than having to do the underline and. Okay.
Okay, so I think A was starting with the word create.
Oh yeah, it's just taking that out. I see what
No.
you're saying.
Just take it out. I would delete
Yeah.
it because it's all new language.
Create or develop documents. Really, okay. So I'm just going to read this out loud so people can make sure it makes sense. Special education technicians shall not A, create or develop. Oh, no, wait, no E at the end of develop. Documents related to the special education record, the exception to access. And then we'd gotten rid of access. So it was just contact log there, right? And
Yep.
then, okay, so does A, does everyone agree that's where we've gotten so far? So then B is conduct or interpret formalized and standardized special education evaluations. C, make independent decisions regarding the implementation of a student's individualized education program IEP, or D, convene and conduct special education meetings. So I am just going to throw a couple of questions out there for the committee. I'm not one of you, but I am a lawyer and I'm seeing a bunch of ands in there that I don't know if you want to consider making them ors. So like convene and conduct special education meetings. You want that to be convene or conduct.
Well, I was
Kathy.
gonna, yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Isn't that redundant? Convene and conduct. To me,
Well,
that
convene,
seems,
you're bringing it together.
yeah, okay,
Conducting is almost like you're facilitating it. But I suppose if you don't convene it, you can't conduct it.
right,
So I
Right.
think you could go straight conduct,
conduct. That's what I was thinking as well.
because you wouldn't convene a meeting to just
then not
convene a
conduct it.
meeting.
Well, some people will.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you could. I mean, if there is that possibility, so it depends on how strict you want to be with the wording, but you could convene a meeting, meaning that you call one to take place. So if you'd want this person to be able to call one to take place or not. Seems
don't
like
think
you'd
so.
have to separate them.
I
they
kind of like
shouldn't
them
be able
being able
to-
to schedule them.
They should be able to schedule them, but not the
Yeah.
initiation of it, right? Not the,
Right,
Correct.
that's what I'm wondering. Do we want them to be able to initiate them?
Mm-mm.
no. Scheduling, different story, and I think we have that covered up above on being able, where we actually talk about that, we want them doing that, right? Schedule and coordinate special education meetings. But down here, we're talking about then the actual responsibility when the meeting starts.
Right, because they're not gonna be in the meeting, so they can't, because that's not part of their,
They can't conduct or
responsibility.
participate,
They
right?
They
can,
can't.
they can
That's-
participate. They can't be the person responsible for the meeting. They're not the teacher of record. They're not the case manager. They're not, but they would be, just like a para can attend an IEP meeting. A special ed tech could attend an IEP meeting. But they can't act in the capacity of the case manager in the IEP meeting.
So I think we're good with just saying conduct special education meetings. I think that's clear and concise.
Aislinn, with your lawyer brain, does that cover that?
Yeah, no, my thought was like, you're going to read convene and conduct together. So I think Kathy hit it on the head there. The one other place I'm seeing that, and I don't know if this is a term of art, is conduct or interpret formalized and standardized special education valuations. Are there formalized special education valuations and standardized special education valuations, or is that a term of art? Maybe I'm just not reading that right. Go ahead, Kathy.
Yeah, in my mind, what a special education teacher does is they are actually conducting the norm reference standardized assessment. So I don't know what formalized means.
There's formalized would refer to like the portion of the evaluation where you're doing like the classroom-based assessments, those pieces that go into that evaluation. We're not going to have the special education technician doing those versus, as you're talking about, Kathy, the all of the pieces that are the standard norm referenced parts that go into the evaluation as well. So there's both kind of component. That's what the formalized piece is referencing, is those like classroom-based assessments, on-site observation, things that the special education teacher would do.
Okay,
As part of that process.
that makes sense to me. But and that makes complete sense what you're saying, Patrick. I understand that. But I think if somebody came in and just read formalized, they're not going to know what that means if they don't have that special ed eye and that special ed background.
You bet.
So I say we either take it out or we define what we mean by formalized with some parentheses.
Or take formalize and standardize out altogether.
We could do that too.
Ricky
Yeah.
Lynn?
I like that.
She literally took the words right out of my mouth. So I was just thinking, because like formalized, man, again, not very many people know, again, SPED acronyms. So, and I think that elaborating on formalized would really help individuals who are reading it. So, and that includes the technician. So, yeah. So, but yeah, you guys already said it.
And then Paul, I saw your hand go up and down. Did your thought get answered already? I just want to make sure I wasn't missing you.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a thought. It was along the line of what Patrick was saying is I think when I think of assessments, and maybe we're talking evaluations here where this is where I could be different, is you have your formalized assessments in your classroom, which hopefully any teacher, whether it's special ed or general ed, is doing. That's what we should be doing in our classroom on a daily. And then you also have your standardized assessments, which Kathleen's talking about, which would be part of an evaluation. So I guess for me, it comes down to, are we talking about true evaluations or assessments? Because if it's assessments,
Very different.
then I would probably agree with taking out, I wouldn't agree with taking out formalized as standardized. If we're talking about evaluation, I probably could agree with taking those two words out of there.
And that was the intent of the design of this, was the evaluation process, right? All of those pieces of that evaluation process, ensuring that those stay with the special education teacher.
And so with that, I would,
I guess
I
that
would,
could be the language, conduct special education evaluations in the, well, now I just lost my language for it, but sorry, go ahead, Paul.
no, I think if we're talking about evaluations, I think the word formalized and standardized could come out because those are more assessment terminology than evaluation terms.
Yep.
And we go back to, we need to make sure that we're keeping it clear and concise. So taking that out makes it more clear and concise on what we're saying.
Okay. Any other thoughts on that? Or let's just open it up to any thoughts on sub 3 generally. That includes everything that you guys want in there. If there's any wording changes there. Paul.
And no, it's just a point of clarification because I remembered us in our first meeting talking about it, and assessments is really covered up in number 2 there. So we did talk about it where they can do a district level assessment and statewide assessments under the direction of a special ed teacher. So I think we're on the right path down here on 3. So.
Okay.
I had one question on C, you guys. Make independent decisions regarding the implementation of a student's IEP. Is it only the implementation or is it even the content? Is implementation in itself okay?
Well, what do
They
we mean by
can't-
implementation? I think we need to understand what that word means. So in my mind, sped tech cannot or shall not make independent decisions regarding the student's IEP, period.
Yep, I like that better. Because then you're not any part of it.
Exactly.
Or in any educational setting.
I mean, I just keep it clean, make independent decisions regarding the student's IEP. Because they're a sped tech. So we want to keep it in that sped realm.
Regarding A students or these students? Do we have thoughts on?
Oh, yeah, I would say A.
Just because both those words were in there, I want to make sure we got the right one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else? Okay. Do we have consensus on sub 3 here? Anybody dissent from proposing that language? Not seeing anything. Let's move on to the definitions. So there's two proposed words that will be defined. The sub numbers are just where they fall alphabetically in the definition section. So if this committee agree, oh, I guess we'll also get to the adjustment part, but this committee will have to agree, if you do, to let us relabel them so that they'll stay alphabetical just as part of this process. And then we can just have OPI do that on the back end and just strike out the old letters. So like 46 would have been 45. And so that's technically something that needs to be approved, but it's pretty pro forma. So right now, the proposal for 1055-602-45 special education technician means an individual that is certified to provide services to students receiving special education, works under the direction of the supervising special education teacher, meets the requirements of ARM 1057-439, and provides services authorized in 1055-725. So do we have any thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Kathy?
Yeah, sorry. Can we change certified to licensed? Because isn't it a sped tech license?
We use the word certified in ARM for all other things. Sorry, Kathy.
Okay,
Just to be consistent.
that's good to know.
McCall?
I just had a couple suggestions to the language. In the first bit, where it says special education technician means an individual that is certified to provide services to students receiving special education. Would it be appropriate to say receiving special education services? I know you're saying services twice in that sentence, but it just seems like maybe they need to be receiving something. And then, oh, go ahead, Julie.
I agree with you. I actually don't think they should be providing services. I think it should just go straight to special education technician means an individual that is certified to work under the direction of a supervising special education teacher, meets the requirements under ARM, and provides services authorized in 1055-725. Because it almost means certified to provide services to students.
Yep.
I don't know, that starts to get a little gray for me around their role.
I agree 100% on that one.
I would be totally in favor of what Julie just said. But I would also suggest that where it says works under the direction of the supervising special ed teacher, that we add as defined in ARM 1055-602-51. So people can easily find where that special ed teacher is. And then on the last, where it says 1055-725, it just needs to have ARM in front of it, ARM.
Okay, so let's take that. I want to give Christy a second to catch up to us here.
Yes.
So special education technician means an individual that is certified to work under the direction of the supervising special education teacher as defined in 10.55. Oh, say, all right, sorry, yep.
1055-602-51.
Sorry, McCall, could you say that again? So as defined in ARM, sorry, I was just catching up here.
Yep, 1055-602-51.
51 in parentheses.
Okay.
Yep, 51 is in parentheses. Sorry about that.
And then you can delete the next part.
Delete this piece?
All the way through.
No, I think, nope. I think you leave the rest.
Means an individual.
Delete up to the comma where it says
up to meets.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you didn't delete it already.
Yeah, sorry. I'm combining Julie's and your proposal together. to make sure we get, okay, and then
I'm
the comma
wondering
there.
about too, Iselin, because we're saying that the individual that is certified. I'm wondering if it should say the special education technician means an individual that is certified as
Under
aligned to
1057
ARM,
439.
as aligned to ARM 1057 439. Might need to work with that language, but
Yeah, because they're certified. I agree with Julie. They're certified under 1057 439.
yeah.
They meet the requirements under 1057 439. So you don't necessarily need to say it twice.
Yeah, so then take out meets the requirements.
Mm-hmm.
Just move
Yep.
1057 439 up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is this what?
Means an individual is certified as just.
Certified under
I think under is better. Certified
ARM
by
1057.
ARM or under.
Okay, so under instead of the comma as aligned to.
We use outlined, we use as defined in, we use under, as referred in, we use those.
Okay, and then I think while we're here, I think we're missing the opening quote on that. Special education technician. That just didn't get transferred over. So I'm going to read this out really quickly, just now that we have it all together. Special education technician means an individual that is certified under ARM 1057-439 to work under the direction of the supervising special education teacher as defined in ARM 1055-602-51 and provide services authorized in ARM 1055-725. McCall. Oh,
Yeah, put
your
it down.
hand was just
Sorry.
still raised. Sorry. It looks like there's an
Remove the
extra
quote
quote
at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this? Okay, do we have consensus on this definition? Anybody dissent from that? Okay, let's move on to 1055-602-51. So the proposal is supervising special education teacher means an individual who holds a class 1 professional license or class 2 standard license with a special education in PK through 12 endorsement as outlined in 1057-410 and 1057-411 and has a minimum of 1 year teaching experience as a special education teacher specified. There's an in twice there in 1057-102-19. Can we let Christy get it over here before we start?
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm sure you're gonna have some good edits. I just want to give her a chance to get that. Okay. Christy, just let us know when you're good there. Okay.
So after the class 1 and class 2, before license, they should both say teacher's license. So class 1 professional teacher's license and class 2 standard teacher's license. And then adding ARM in front of most of the references to rule. And then I had a suggestion. It's not referenced here, but since in 60245, which is for the special education technician, we reference over to the supervising special education teacher, it made sense to me here to add at the end and supervises the special education technician as defined in ARM 1055-602-45. So to reference back. We certainly don't have to, but I thought that might make sense to sort of reference one another so that they're tied together. But I would keep that open to the group. And then The only other suggestion I had would be to hyphenate 1 year.
Someone hearted that last suggestion Ricky did, looks like.
Ye- Yeah, no, I agree with her because I think that it's paralleling perfectly. And then I like the way how she worded that as well. I mean, it just, like I said, it elaborating a little bit more just to, because not everybody understands, our way of thinking. So you got to really, what's the word? Break it down, I guess.
Okay, I have a couple of more suggestions, Island.
Yeah, can we, sorry, Kathy's hand has been up for a while. Oh, you're good. Kathy's good. Kathy's good letting you go first. Just wanted to make
And
sure.
did I capture
Go ahead.
everything before we go on? I just want to kind of make sure I captured I think I got it all here, but make sure I got what you all were saying. Okay, looks like.
Okay, so we got
Julie,
a
it's
couple
you.
things here. We need a supervising special education teacher, means an individual who holds a current class
Mhm.
1. That's essential. Current class 1 professional teacher's license or class 2 standards teaching's license with a special education PK-12 endorsement as outlined in 411. Endorsements are not listed in 410. And 411 just lists what the endorsements are. So I almost feel like it just needs to say with a special education endorsement, because 1057 411 is just a list of all the endorsements. It doesn't like really give. And then we've got another problem here. As a minimum of 1 year teaching experience.
Yeah.
As a minimum of 1 year of teaching experience as a special education teacher as outlined. So in ARM 1057 10219, that's actually about the definition of what teaching experience means. So
So let's take these one by one. So the proposal is to delete as outlined in the references to ARM. Is everyone okay with
Yes.
that before we move on to the next? Okay.
Yeah.
And then
it
looks like
teaching experience.
delete the of, is that what you're saying, or leave? Sorry, I couldn't hear if you're.
Well,
When you're
ARM 1057 10219
okay.
is not about necessarily the special education teacher part. It's about the teaching experience only.
While Julie's thinking there, I'll chime in because that was what I was concerned about as well. What's the reasoning behind only 1 year, a minimum of 1 year teaching experience? I'm sorry, but I don't know that.
It won't exist. Basically, that position won't exist if you put too much experience on it. So many of our schools are that it's hard to find a school that has a teacher beyond 3 years of experience in a lot of cases.
Right, I get that. Yeah. But
so
what
that
I'm
was one of the things we
concerned-
talked about when we debated on this for the proposal, was just the and that's why, Kathy, along those lines, I was going to propose something of requiring, like right now, it doesn't seem there should be some sort of district requirement in there too, that the district has approved that person. However we can word that there's something there with that as well.
Yeah, something there. I agree. Here's my concern is that being one that in the higher ed, my teachers are, my teacher candidates, they're ready to go coming out, but they're not ready to supervise a sped tech yet. If they've only taught 1 year, they still have so much more that they need to learn. That just concerns me. That I don't know. I just have a concern there. I don't know if it's worth. I don't know. There you go. There's my concern.
Any other thoughts?
Well, I kind of am on both ends of this one, you guys. One is, a first year special education teacher sometimes does have to supervise a paraprofessional, highly likely coming out of the gate.
Yep.
And so I'm wondering if we don't try to put like a minimum on it at all. I don't know, because as special education teachers, there's a high percentage chance that there's going to be a paraprofessional you're working with. You're going to have to be supporting them. So, I don't know if you just then say, like a standard teacher's license with a special education endorsement and supervises a special education technician as outlined in ARM there, and just take that out.
Maybe, yeah. And you're right, Julie, I mean, coming out of the gate, they're supervising paraprofessionals, but I wonder if coming out of the gate, they're ready to supervise a sped tech. Because a sped tech has more responsibilities than a paraprofessional. That's where I'm coming from. But also, I mean, I don't know. And I just, yeah. That's where I'm coming from right now, but I'm definitely willing to listen to what others have to say about that.
Other thoughts, Mary Kay, it looks like.
I totally hear what you're saying, Kathy, but having only taught in small districts and often being the only option for a supervisor, and so it would limit this as an option for the district if there were that requirement. And so I think that, that's a decision the district has to make in terms of who's going to be the supervisor. But my hesitation is to put the restriction of years of experience when that's maybe not going to be an option for the district to have that in place.
Paul?
Yeah, and I don't have the specific numbers on it, but I would say at least half of our school districts are in that situation where they have one special education teacher for the entire district. And so if that person isn't able to be the supervisor, then they can't implement they can have licensed sped techs that they can't utilize for those extra duties then.
Paul?
Yeah, maybe I'm off base, which happens often, but the special ed technicians really can schedule and coordinate special ed meetings, right, by the new rule 725. Collect, prepare, and organize student-specific data and information, deliver instruction one-on-one or small groups, and conduct district-level assessments and mandatory statewide assessments, right? That's all we're saying they can do, correct?
Yeah.
So in my opinion, looking at the scope of what their job would be, I wouldn't feel that there would need to be a 1-year minimum with what they would be asked to do. Because of what that is, I would hope that, I would bet you right now that some of those duties are being done by, no offense to anybody if there's secretary on this call right now, but being done by secretaries and have even less education what this technician would have, in my opinion. So just to throw my 2 cents out, looking back at what we're proposing for 725, I'm not so sure we need to have that a minimum of a year. And I go back to what I said last time and echo Mary Kay right now. I think our small schools would be in struggle to try to keep up with this a 1-year mandatory thing. I mean, even our large schools are struggling right now.
Dixie, did you want to weigh in on that as well?
I was just going to weigh in on, I feel like the whole purpose of this special ed technician is to provide those special ed teachers with support. So that's your first place you're going to need that support, is with that first year teacher. Maybe that technician's been there for 5 years, at least they have an idea. So I guess when I'm looking at, that's what I'm like, what's the difference between the technician and a para? Well, you want your technician to be able to do more to provide that support. I guess that's where my thoughts were.
So let's just get it. I'm hearing a proposal to delete after endorsement through the end of the next comma. Is everybody okay with that? I'm seeing some nods. Anybody have an issue with doing that? Anything else? So now it reads, supervising special education teacher means an individual who holds a current Class 1 professional teacher's license or Class 2 standard teacher's license with a special education PK-12 endorsement and supervises a special education technician as outlined in ARM 1055-602-45. We probably need a period on the end of that too.
Aislinn, one thing, do we need parentheses around PK-12?
I don't know how if that's a question for me or for the group.
I'll look at what the endorsement says. And endorsements are in 412 for what it's worth. So we had the wrong one in there anyway, so it didn't really matter.
It is in paren in, oh wait, in some of that, no, it's not in.
Special education.
It's not in paren. Special education P12.
No, it's not in parentheses.
And it doesn't have a K either.
No K, yeah, no K. Just P12. Good catch, Julie. One question for you. You added current in front of the Class 1. Does it need to have a current in front of Class 2?
I'm guessing that was Mary Kay's question as well. So she just lowered her hand, or did you have? Oh no.
You go ahead and answer her question, then I do have a different question.
Okay.
The current to me is applying to both of those, but I don't know if it reads that way because of the or.
I don't read it that way.
There's another issue with how it reads with the or, is you're saying by putting the or in there, it reads to me like you can do this with just your Class 1 teacher license. Which is not, you still need the special education endorsement.
You can't get you can't get a license without some form of an endorsement on it. So
I understand, but okay, that's
so I don't
what I
know.
was saying was different than that.
So Patrick, or what you're saying is it should be holds a current Class 1 professional teacher's license with a special education P12 endorsement or a current Class 12 standard teacher's license with the special. Is that your concern?
I'm just how it reads. I think we all get the intention with that, but does it read that way? Or would this allow somebody that just has a Class 1 license in another area be able to be the supervising teacher if it was written this way?
What if you were to just say then, Patrick, to clean that up a little bit? Supervising special education teacher means an individual who holds a current Class 1 or Class 2 teacher's license with a special education P12 endorsement. You don't need the professional and the standard in there. It's kind of repetitive. And then maybe that might get to that endorsement a little quicker.
I like
check that out.
Yeah.
Mary Kay, your turn now.
I don't know if this question is applicable or not, but the supervising special education teacher, and then I'm going to skip ahead, supervises a special education technician. Does this supervising special education teacher have that title without supervising a special education technician? Or is it relevant to this? I don't know if it makes sense what I'm asking, but
I think, yeah, so essentially you're asking, does it become a supervisor because they're supervising the special education technician? I think people understood.
Well, if they're supervising another entity, like, do we need to say who may supervise a special education technician? because they might supervise others. And I don't know if it's, again, I don't know if that's a relevant question to this, this
I don't-
process, but.
In ARM, you guys, I don't think we use the term supervising teacher it by itself anywhere. It's unique to this.
Okay.
Any other thoughts? Anybody have any issues with this definition as written? Okay, any dissent from reaching consensus on it? Not seeing any, so the committee's reached consensus on 602, 45, and 51. Okay, do we want to go back and just, we've reached consensus, but maybe just look at, now that we've done the definitions, go back and look at the ARM altogether, the package that you guys have decided on. It will also come out in a follow-up email, but I think it might make sense to just look through this. So I'm just going to read it off really quickly. We've already reached consensus, but if anyone, as you're reading this, notices something really wrong, let me know. So we have 1, special education technicians shall be under the direction of the supervising special education teacher who is responsible for instruction and assessment of students with special needs. 2, special education technicians under the direct supervision of a licensed special education teacher as defined in 1055-602-51 may A, schedule and coordinate special education meetings, B, collect, prepare, and organize student-specific data and information, C, deliver instruction in one-to-one and small group settings, and D, conduct district-level assessments and mandatory statewide assessments. 3, special education technicians shall not A, create or develop documents related to the special education record with the exception of the contact log, B, conduct or interpret special education evaluations, C, make independent decisions regarding a student's individualized education program IEP, or D, conduct special education meetings. And then we have the new ARM definitions. We can go back to that.
I have one
Yeah.
recommended change.
Oh, let's go back.
Back to the very top to number 1. I think we should reference the special education teacher as defined in 1055-602-51 that's in 2, up in 1 the first time you reference it.
Okay.
So 1 would be special education technicians special education technicians as defined in 1055-602. I don't remember the number. To go back and
51.
look.
45,
No, it was
I
40,
think.
40 something.
I think it's 45. I'll
Okay,
look.
check. 45. Special defined shall be under the direction of the supervising special education teacher as defined in 1055-602-51. Then in 2, delete the reference to the ARM.
Okay, everyone okay with that change? I think you might need a comma after the 45 and sub 1 since you're doing a comma after the 51. Okay. Everybody okay with that? Okay.
And
the
that's going to
committee-
say 45 because we're also going to propose adjusting the numbers on definitions, right?
Yep. So the committee has reached consensus on that. Let's go back to the new ARM definitions. I'll read those out one more time. Special education technician means an individual that is certified under ARM 1057-439 to work under the direction of the supervising special education teacher as defined in ARM 1055-602-51 and provides services authorized in ARM 1055-725. Supervising special education teacher means an individual who holds a current Class 1 or Class 2 teacher's license with a special education P12 endorsement and supervises a special education technician as outlined in ARM 1055-602-45. I do have a question about that one. Can we go back up? You're saying as defined in ARM 1055-602-51 above, and then you're saying as outlined in ARM 1055-602-45 bottom. Do you want those to match? So it says as defined. Again, just a question from the lawyer. Okay. Okay, and then the next one, so if we scroll down, is the numbering. So that the recommendation is to adjust the numbers of the definitions in 1055-702 because where alphabetically the special education technician would fit in would be at 45. So then you'd have to push what is in 45 down to 46, 47, 48. So basically to just readjust those numbers so that it's alphabetized with these two numbers in there. Does anybody need to see a red line of that, or are we okay with just reaching consensus on that recommendation? Any thoughts on that? Okay, looks like consensus has been reached on that. And Paul, did that answer your question earlier? Are you all good with that now?
Yep.
And we did look at to make sure that with that 51 alphabetically would be where it is now after those numbers are moved down. So, but if there's any issues, we'll just make sure. I'll make sure that the that it's set as it should be alphabetically. Okay, so the next thing to do, we've reached consensus. Great job, you guys. We still have 17 more minutes so we can discuss the economic impact survey and the survey questions. So there were sample questions in the packet that went out. Is this a Word doc, Christy, or this is a PDF?
This is a PDF, yeah.
Okay. Maybe if we,
so
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so I have it screen sharing now, but I probably could copy and paste it into sort of a Word doc on the side here if you would like me to. I can do that real quick.
Yeah, I think that might be a good place to start. This was an economic impact survey that went out in the past, so we could just kind of start with there and see if people want to reject any of those proposed questions or add any more. So I'll give you a second to do that. Okay.
I think I'm ready. If you want to start.
Is there a final question? Like a more general open-ended one? Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Yeah. Can we make this a little bit smaller maybe so we can see it all? Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So proposed questions are, what is your primary role? Question 2, do you believe this amended rule will have an economic impact on the personnel in your district? Q3, if yes, please explain. 4 is if yes, what increase in actual dollars would be required to cover the cost of the economic impact on personnel? Question 5, do you believe that this amended / new rule will have an economic impact on available resources in your district? I think this is probably just a new rule. I mean, they're amended. So we'll probably strike the amended there. Q6, if yes, please explain. 7, if yes, what increase in actual dollars would be required to cover the economic impact to available resources? 8, Would additional professional development be needed to implement the proposed rule/amendment? Again, I think we can strike amendment there. It's just a new rule. Q9, if yes, please explain. Q10, if yes, what increase in actual dollars would be required to cover the cost of additional professional development? Q11, is there anything else you believe the superintendent should consider in determining the economic impact for implementing this new rule? So, are there any of those questions anybody thinks are superfluous, should be taken out, or anything that you think should be added?
Island, what
Yep.
about the fact that we redacted? Oh, redacted, isn't that the right word? Redacted? Do we have to put anything about the one that we took off?
Oh, yeah, I guess that is an amendment. You're right. I forgot we did that. And I didn't read that over. The committee resent consensus on that earlier. Sorry about that. So yeah, I guess, Chrissy, you can just undo. There was amended rule and a new one.
It'd be a repeal.
Yeah.
Repeal. There's the word.
Well, it was, I think technically that would be an amendment though, because it was just a portion of the rule. It wasn't repealing the entire rule. Right?
Yep. Just struck out a subsection. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So do we need to add an S onto rules then, since there are multiple? Mary Kay?
So number 2 says amended rule. So does that need to say new/amended rule then? Or amended/new?
Okay. Well, Christy's going through and making that plural. Any other thoughts? Does anybody think there's any?
Maybe when we
questions that are
put the
missing?
survey out, we should put these questions and put them as amended for the 805 and then reset them for the new rules for the roles and the definitions.
So send out 2 separate surveys, one for the one that we just removed the
No.
part and the one for the new one, or?
One survey with 12 questions, or like
Okay.
with one survey with actually, one survey that would be, not one survey, but the first part of the survey should be about the amended rule where you ask these questions separate from asking questions about adding the new roles and definitions, because you may respond very differently based upon those two. And then I think
Okay.
that question 11 could be, so it'd be like 21. So 1 through 10 would be repeated for the 805. And then 1 through 10 would be repeated again for the roles and definitions. And then 11 would just be a general one at the end.
Okay. Thoughts on that? So we just have 4 amended rule, whatever the number is, and then 1 through 10, and then 4 new rule and definitions, and then 1 through 10, and then 21. Okay. If the committee is okay with that, we can, rather than just trying to format that all right now, we'll let Christy do that and we can send it back out in the email follow up to this where you approve the minutes if that works for everybody. Otherwise we might, I don't want to put her on the spot trying to do that all. Anything we think is missing here, or anything you think doesn't need to be in here? Okay, do I have any dissent from formulating this as 21 questions as I just described? For the first 10 pertain to the amended rule, the next 10 pertain to the new rules and definitions, and then there's that final question 21 that applies to everything. Is the committee okay with reaching consensus on that? Okay, the committee's reached consensus. Christy, if you want to pull up that last slide one more time. think we do need to do one more public comment, although I don't think anybody else has jumped on, but just for the record, if any members of the public want to speak, now is your time. Okay, wow, guys, you did great. Thank you for moving along and getting this done. It looks like we won't have to schedule another meeting. So the last steps will be via email, and that will be approval of the minutes from this meeting once they're ready. So I will send those out to the email list. Paul, I finally have your right email. Sorry about that. And then the final economic impact survey questions, once we've formatted those, will be sent out for the committee to review and just make sure everybody's okay with that with the meeting minutes. You've already reached consensus in the process, but just to make sure we didn't miss anything. And we have no need for an upcoming meeting. So Christy, did I miss anything there with the next steps? Are we all set? Okay, we're all done. Thank you all. This was, I will say, a lot less contentious than the last negotiated rulemaking process that I facilitated. I appreciate all your hard work, and thank you, Christy, for guiding us along with the revisions. I know that wasn't always easy to do in real time. So I appreciate working with you all, and I'll let you off a few minutes early. Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone. Appreciate it.